Welcome to the Underground, the Steel City Underground, the black and gold standard for Pittsburgh Steelers coverage. Now, here's your host, Joe Kuzma and Brian E. Roach.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Steel City Underground podcast. My name is Joe Kuzma, and I would like to welcome this stranger sitting right next to me in the virtual space. Some of you may actually know him from the Steel City Underground podcast from a real long time ago. Last time we saw...
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2-3 weeks. Yeah, last time we saw you, Brian, you were in the Mile High City, I think.
Yes, it's true.
In a hotel room, and then I think... We thought we lost you in the Rocky Mountains or whatever, but welcome back. I guess the rescue crew found you and all as well. How's it going, my friend?
I'm recovering from my weekend's trek to the Berg and not sleeping and for a variety of other reasons. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm glad to be back here with you, my brother from another mother. My iterations of different I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say. I'm too tired.
He's trying to be a little too clever for his own good. So
I need about 7 more of these things, and then I'll be all right.
Yeah, I know. Knee deep in coffee. And that's the reason we're coming to you on a day late without the Victory Monday here. Is we're both recuperating in different ways. A long Sunday night football game. Not only with you went and you had to travel, I did not go for a variety of personal reasons, but overtime as well.
Oh yeah.
Bonus football, a 23-20 Steelers victory, and this is exactly how we told everyone the season was going to go up until the bye week, isn't it?
No.
No.
This is not exactly how we saw it unfolding, but as it started to unfold, yeah, I do kind of think this is what we've been saying all along. Now, for the last few episodes, games, I don't know. I forget. I've watched a couple of the episodes that you've done without me, a couple of the shows, but that was like already a week ago now, and I forget what the hell you said. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just said some stuff like, the Steelers have a chance to get back to 3-3 and 500 ball, and here we are. And
yes,
I mean that's good as far as a reset. I don't think that anybody felt that the Steelers were going to. Well, the way this unfolded, Brian, was kind of figured, okay, they're going to lose to the Bills. They should beat the Raiders and Bengals. They'll lose to the Packers. That's 500 right there. And then maybe beat the Broncos in a coin flip with the Seahawks. Because when you're looking at this in June and July, you're assuming Russell Wilson's going to be there.
Right.
So it's already where we thought they might be. It's kind of funny because right now is what me and the professor, Zach Meckler, did. What was this, back in June or July? We did each of the 3 AFC North teams. So just to kind of put this into perspective, we had the Ravens right here, too. The only game we had them losing was against the Kansas City Chiefs. So we had them as a 5-1 football team already this early. I think things are going to be a little more tough sledding as it goes on. They've overcome some injuries. And the Bengals, we also had in a situation where they might be 3-3. Obviously, they're 4-2. And then the Cleveland Browns, we had at the same place practically, yes, the same exact way. In fact, calling 3 wins against the Texans, Bears, and Vikings. So when you look at it as overall the AFC North, we got to kind of give a pat on our own back. We would have liked the Steelers to have maybe one more victory here, but there were a few where we said, it could be somewhere in here. We thought the AFC North was going to be very competitive. It is, and I guess for the betterment of the Steelers here, they're at least back to a 500 team. And they have a shot at this. It would be nice to see Baltimore fall on their face a little bit. I still think the harder part of their schedule is going to be coming as the Steelers kind of, this all kind of depends too. So we got to talk about this game because we're going to have a bye week to maybe discuss a little bit more of what's coming. They get a full week off. The Browns, who are absolutely decimated, have to play Thursday night against the Broncos, which I don't know how you can kind of manage that, but then they have like a mini bye, and then you have like a Halloween setting on actual Halloween in Cleveland for whatever craziness that is. You're going to see the guy with the pumpkin head for sure.
Pumpkin head.
Yeah, Pumpkinhead. I mean, hey, it's cool. They ripped off the Raiders and have their own little black hole thing going. But whatever,
It's all good. Whatever.
Yeah, just do you like. But oh man, I have to say two things though, because I know I like to dig at the Browns when I get a chance. What's it like losing to a team when they don't have their head coach over there on the sidelines? I mean, I don't know. I heard something about that for the better part of, I don't know, all of 2021 from a certain fan base. So they're going to be like, oh, well, everybody got hurt, blah, blah. Yeah. You know what? We weren't allowed to say all those things either. So stick it.
I'm going to refrain from commenting about the Browns for the moment.
Yeah, we don't need bulletin board material until after the Steelers beat Cleveland.
I'll wait until after that game.
I think it's funny though. Just even listening to Monday Night Football, and it was probably Booger or whoever was there during the halftime. I'm trying to think, and they were talking about the Browns and their injuries, and Baker Mayfield's got the shoulder thing going, and not to belabor too much on Cleveland and get to our own game here, but they were like, oh, well, the Browns defense, haven't been playing so well and this and that. They've been hurt too. I mean, I think it's just convenient how these guys see just like the little blip across the bottom of the screen. Maybe they see some stats or they see a couple highlights, and then that's like the whole overall picture of the franchise. And that's the thing I was trying to say about the Steelers here too, Brian, was, these losses to the Bengals and Raiders, not having TJ Watt for like 6 quarters or whatever, that was pretty big, and Highsmith getting hurt, Devin Bush getting hurt, and, they've been missing players here or there, even Cam Sutton, everybody with a groin injury pretty much. And
I need to know what the hell they're doing over there on Southside. I mean, what the hell is going on with all these groins? Stop with the groins. What in the heck?
I know.
It's like I have to be careful how I comment about this because it's groins. But, geez, just, stop messing with your groin.
Yeah, I've injured my groin several times,
That sounds like a personal problem, my friend.
On the couch. No, you sick freak. I walked into the arm of the recliner, of course. So, anyways, no, the reason I bring this up is because all of the highlights I saw Monday, it started in like the fourth quarter with the Geno Smith pass to Will Disley, and then just went straight into that final drive. And I'm like, there was a whole first half of this game that got completely ignored by the press, basically. And I know doom and gloom, and I know you just told me you don't have a positive outlook on the Steelers, and I understand it's a tale of two halves thing. Let's go through this game a little bit here, Brian. Let me preface this by saying, heading into this one, Lofa Tatupu was on the show. Formerly of the Seahawks, still covers the Seahawks. He was on Thursday or Friday last week, and one of the comments I had made to him was, how upset do you think the Steelers fan base is going to be if this isn't a blowout? Because they're going to see backup quarterback and just immediately assume victory. And I think it pretty much hit the nail on the head. The other thing was, I want to say the over-under on this game was like 42 and a half?
42, I think, yeah.
It was right there, and he had 43. And I was saying either one of these teams is going to score a lot, which I don't think is going to be the case. This is going to be a tight game. And it is two head coaches that they're going to try and coach their way out of this regardless of the situation. So, I had a lot of respect for the Seahawks coming into this, even kind of being a little battered. Backup running back. Does Alex Collins really qualify as a backup running back? I guess in the second half he doesn't, but we'll get to that. So I guess some individual performances as we get into this. Najee Harris, 24 carries, 81 yards. Is a 3.4 average, but you take out one run, and it wasn't necessarily the best performance. It wasn't the previous week's performance against the Broncos with the offensive line, but I still thought it was okay. You had Deontay Johnson was targeted 13 times, caught 9 of those for 71. Pat Freiermuth, another guy here, 7 of 7, everything that went his way 58 yards, finally getting a little more involved here in the pass game. And then, of course, Najee Harris is in this. Chase Claypool was basically non-existent. Two receptions, targeted 17 times, but only 17 yards. And that was a little bit of a disappointment. I'm trying to think who just beat the snot out of the Seattle, just the Seahawks just a week earlier, because I was thinking, oh man, Claypool is going to have a field day on this team, and there wasn't much of a big passing performance by Big Ben and company. Roethlisberger ends with a 94.7 rating. Could have thrown more interceptions. I mean, that one was
absolutely
bounced right off Jamal Adams' face mask. Completed 72.5% of his passes, still throwing 40 times, 29-40. But our magic number, though, Najee still 24 carries. That seems to still carry weight here, even though it was a tight game. Okay, Brian, pet peeve. Can the Steelers win a coin toss this year?
Apparently the answer to that is no.
No. And it's just ticking me off so much. And people are going to be like, really, a coin toss? Yeah. Because I think they've only won one of these so far this year. And then their offense goes out on the field. And with the exception of finally against Green Bay, and they did it, last week against Denver too. But once again, stalling. Part of that, Trey Turner, false start, 5 yards right in the first opening series after Najee runs the ball twice. Gets a 5-yard gain on second down, which was nice. 3rd and 4, a little more manageable stuff. No, let's punt this ball away. The good news is the Steelers' defense, 3 and out right from the very beginning. They had to burn a timeout immediately in that first series. So this was pretty cool. You're going to see this name pop up a lot from Sunday night's game, Trey Norwood. Let's talk about Trey a little bit. This is probably a good spot. We've been kind of expounding on him and saying, wow, 7th round pick. There are some fans out here that are just annoying, and it's really bothering me. There's people who are calling Devin Bush a bust. There are people that are calling Minka Fitzpatrick wasted for what was given up to get him. And of course, you still got the Terrell Edmonds narrative of they reached for him as a first-round pick. How much of this is the Steelers' defense sometimes being a little out of sync versus just the other team making plays? It's like the other team is never allowed to make plays until one of those players then gets released when they're already like 35 years old. And then bring him over to the Steelers, bring him to Pittsburgh. He's the savior. Just insert a name there because it seems like that's what always happens. He sucks. He should have never done this. Oh, he did do this to the Steelers, so he's got to be like a god walking on water and needs to be on this roster. It just really annoys me. I think Norwood had a really good game. There's a lot of things that are very unexpected for a player that comes out of the 7th round or practically undrafted like he has. But people see that, I think he was listed as a safety when he was drafted, and they think, oh, he's going to replace one of these other guys, Edmonds or Fitzpatrick. They're already talking about this, and you're just 6 weeks in. It's just kind of annoying me. He's just he's a dime backer. He's one of these extra DBs that's on the field. And he's almost more Mike Hilton than he would be either of the other two safeties. And he allows those safeties to do, especially Edmonds, allows Minka to maybe freelance a little bit more. And that's why you see Minka all over the damn field. People are like, oh, well, he's over there because Edmonds isn't doing his job. No, Edmonds is doing his job. That's why he can be over there. It's just kind of annoying me. What's your observation on this before we get a little bit deeper into this? Because I think Norwood allows them to do a little bit more, but I think you still see Arthur Mollett out there. So I think they're still a little leery. Mollett, obviously, he's a veteran, but he's not really a starter. And I think there's just some reluctance, even on the offensive side of the ball, to be honest with you, with Mike Tomlin and some rookies and fully just inserting him there and trying to not let this bleed out in certain areas.
I will say Trey Norwood has been a very, very pleasant surprise. I think he has contributed at a level far above what I had expected from him. Is filling a role that is not a full Mike Hilton role, but at least part of that role. Tomlin said it very clearly later on. He is a piece of the puzzle in replacing what Mike Hilton used to provide. We haven't seen him doing the blitzing that Hilton did, but we do see him picking up and really doing some nice job as the nickelback in coverage, in run support. Laying some big hits. I've been very, very happy with what Trey Norwood has done, but it is a small portion of everything. So they are working him in to what they do and what they expect hopefully will come with him, right? Makes sense. Fine. I think, this is you talked about Tomlin not wanting to put rookies in, and he hasn't really had any option. Obviously we've got, 2 rookies starting on the offensive line. You've got a rookie running back. On the defensive side, I'm seeing Loudermilk getting more snaps than I thought I would expect him to get. This is a team that has become very reliant on these younger guys to provide at least some level of output. And that is part of why you see what you see, right? They need time to grow. They need time to adjust. They need time to mature into the positions that they have. So it's all, I think it's encouraging that these guys are contributing right now. But I also think that, there should be a level of expectation when you have that many rookies playing, quantitative snaps on your team. There needs to be, you need to come into it and go, well, okay, this is not a bunch of veteran team. This is not a veteran team right now that's been put together and is hanging around and has been playing with each other for, 3, 4, 5 years. It's a bunch of new guys and a bunch of new parts, and it's going to take time. It's nice that they're 3-3 while they're in the middle of doing this. I'm not even going to call it rebuilding because I don't believe that's what it is, but it is. You've got a lot of insertions here, a lot of new pieces.
Reloading, more like
yes.
Hey, I found that Mike Tomlin quote. I'm not sure who asked it, but from the press conference, the post game. What do you like about the way that Trey Norwood came up big on some third down stops tonight? Mike Tomlin says Trey has been part of a group that has provided big time versatility for us, man. I love Mike Tomlin press conferences. We should get back. We'll get to the major quote, or it may not even be paraphrased from the official transcript here, but it was, he didn't have a whole lot to say, just enough. Embarrassing, we'll put it that way. Yeah. And don't worry, we'll have a lot to say about that soon. But yeah, big time versatility. We've been working hard to find a division of labor there at the early portions of the season. Mike Hilton was a significant guy in some of that stuff here. And so we've got a bunch of guys doing a bunch of things. Arthur Millette, as we just mentioned, too. He's a part of that group. We're trying to highlight the individual skill sets. It provides an opportunity for a lot of those guys to make plays, and he's one of them. We're appreciative of the efforts, and hopefully he and we collectively continue to grow as we push forward. But nights like tonight, you grow from it in a big way, and I'm appreciative of his efforts. It sounded like he was glowing at this one because it's like you coach up a young man to be in there, and he makes a handful of big-time plays. He's not the only guy on the defense making some big-time plays, but we'll get to that. The Steelers, let's jump back into this game real quick. Steelers, was this the only pass James Washington caught on the very next series? 9 yards, and then he disappears from the game, and there hasn't been anything officially said about this. Now, my cousin said he was eyeballing him on the sideline. He was over there and looked like he was constantly stretching or trying to stay loose to come back in the game. And I got to wonder, when he was already on the injury report earlier, if we don't hear something about that in the Tuesday press conference. Maybe. Just speculation. A lot of people were saying, oh, geez, why are they putting Ray McLeod out there? Ray McLeod, I don't even know what it was, 57, 55 to 8 snaps or something like that. And, yeah, that's not the guy I want on the field primarily, to be honest. But they're also trying to sort through now that Juju Smith-Schuster is no longer a part of their offensive game plan as well. So keep that in mind. Ben Roethlisberger, unable to find Deontay Johnson on this drive. Pat Freiermuth, just short, 7 yards. Steelers go out off the field with no points once again. The defense comes out and a little bit more of a sustained drive here by the Sea Chickens. I don't know why I want to call them the Sea Chickens, but I do, or the Chickens of the Sea. But they try and do a little bit more with Geno Smith. There was a very disappointing 3rd and 8 where I'm trying to figure out why. This is the one that's kind of more bugging me. I don't think that having James Pierre on the field, and especially Robert Spillane, in points. I understand substitutions. I understand there's been some guys that have been nicked. I understand guys get tired. But I've seen a lot more of Spillane on the field in the last couple of weeks. And it just seems in some odd situations like 3rd and 8. James Pierre, you've been forced to play him for better or worse at some points. He's made some splash, so I see where they're thinking there. He also, I mean, I don't know who can't get burned by some of these burners that are out there, Sutton, Ruggs, guys like that, especially when you're an undrafted guy. But even if you're a first-round corner anymore, you got to have like insane footwork and speed to keep up with some of these players. And the rules do not behoove you to cover these wide receivers to begin with. So I don't know what you do there. Another game, another performance I'll pull out too here is Alex Highsmith. I thought had a tremendous game. Stopping the run, creating pressure, drawing some penalties, and I believe did he get a sack and a half in this game, Brian? I'm going to have to look him up. At least the one, 1.5 of the Steelers getting 5 on Geno Smith, I believe. Yes. So Alex Highsmith, this isn't the area where he got the sack, but there was another big play here right after this. So it was Alex Collins gets stopped by Highsmith. Tyler Lockett, incomplete pass intended for him by Geno Smith, covered by Trey Norwood once again. The Seahawks take the delay of game. There was the punt. It still goes into the end zone for a touchback. So now the Steelers get the ball back. And it's once again a very boring first quarter. Deontay Johnson called or tagged with the offensive pass interference. Sets up a 3rd and 11, but the Steelers do move the sticks this time. Najee Harris with one of his negative runs here, losing 2 yards. This is going to remind me, and I'm not calling him Barry Sanders, but Barry Sanders had a lot of negative runs and a lot of positive runs and didn't always have the best offensive line or best talent surrounding him. Maybe in his later years, and all of a sudden he just vanished and retired, if you remember. But Scott Mitchell, Herman Moore, they had an arsenal toward the end there and finally made the postseason for a change. But this is just kind of what it reminds me of. It's a lot of people are still thinking, Jerome Bettis, just hammer people and always positive yards for the most part. That's just not the way that this works. And we're talking about Hall of Famers here, obviously. So give Najee a little bit of credit here. I still think he creates where he can. He's still got some problems with the offensive line, but I've seen growth. They didn't really get the bend. There was the one strip sack that ends up occurring here shortly. But Presley Harvin, a 58-yard punt. Seahawks once again go 3 and out. Steelers get the ball back on this shanked punt, 24 yards. And now they have some great field position. They're at their own 46 to begin. And you're thinking here, okay, finally, the offense has got to do something here. A little bit something different this week, I thought, Brian, and last week a little more. It wasn't just runs on first down. We finally started to get a little bit more variety, a little more spice of life. And I'm starting to see that Najee is picking up more yards on second down because I think the defenses, they've been watching the film, they've been seeing trends, and we've been talking about these trends going all the way back to last year. Second down, he picks up 6 yards here and sets up a 3rd and 3. Eric Ebron holds on to the ball. Actually looks like a star in this game for a change. I know it wasn't like the most targets that were headed his way. Just the 2 catches for 10 yards. And, of course, he gets the touchdown run later on. But this one's capped off with a 2nd and 5 from Seattle's 5. This was set up by a Deontay Johnson run of 25 and a Pat Freiermuth catch for 12 yards. This put them right on the doorstep. Oh, yeah. And can you believe that somebody in one of these Facebook groups said, why are they booing him? And I'm like,
oh, well, yeah, because, we'll get to the fact that people are stupid and inattentive at some point.
I was doing this thing with my neck, like the owls look sideways, like, whoo, what are you talking about? My neck just popped. I wonder if that might have been audible enough for you to hear that. Oh, man. Stiff. Anyways, Najee caps us off 5 yards. That's good for my fantasy team. I sounded like I had too many Seahawks on my fantasy team on the pregame show, but hey, I pulled Tyler Lockett from my lineups, actually, believe it or not. 2 catches, 35 yards. That's something to be commended, too. DK Metcalf, 6 for 58. Gerald Everett, the one tight end, he doesn't get a whole lot of use. I understand both tight ends catch 2 balls here, 1 for 41 for with the 41-yard long. He actually lost yards on the other reception that he had during the game. Will Disley, 2 for 8. But overall, holding Tyler Lockett, 7 targets, only 2 of those caught for 25 yards, and DK Metcalf, 6 of 7. I thought that's a pretty good job by the secondary. We're going to absolutely obliterate them here in a second, though, based on the second half running. So after the 5-yard Najee Harris run, the Seahawks get the ball back, and the Steelers defense, they give up one of these DK Metcalf catches, instant first down, 14 yards. You're thinking, uh-oh, here we go. This team's got a little bit of vigor. They're going to try and respond here. This second quarter is going to be better than the first quarter. Nah, Cam Hayward put an end to that. Punctuated loss of 8 yards.
Can I say it?
You could always say it.
Dude is a grown ass man.
Man, is he ever. And Pro Football Focus, giving him and Chris Wormley some love this year. It's kind of hard to believe. They had Cam in the first 4 games actually ranked higher than Aaron Donald, which is, I don't know.
Look,
that's
you
tough.
know my heart with Cam. He's not Aaron Donald. But he is awesome, and he is a tremendous talent. But that just goes to show you that the folks at PFF are all on crack. Crack is whack, yo.
Well, they have Minka listed as like the next to worst safety in the league. Like even worse, like 37 to 38. They've even gone beyond all 32 starters. And then, like, there's someone there that is higher up in those positions that's just a hater. He's not a fan of Steel City.
CC. He might be have the initials CC.
CC Bungle, former Bungle. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was okay. I know I was watching this one on TV for a change, and he was actually tolerable and almost seemed to the point I'm like, man, Seahawks fans are going to get really mad at this guy. He's giving a little too much praise to the Steelers. He was talking about they get the run game going in the defense, and I was sitting here scratching my head. I'm like, when does that happen in 2021? But, just all kidding aside, Steelers had a really long drive here after this. They chew up almost 7 minutes. It's almost 14 minutes of real time if you're looking at your watch. 14 plays, 84 yards, 2 penalties during the drive. That one of them was an offside, which certainly helped on a 3rd and 3. And Ben took one of his deep shots that didn't get there. Almost got there, though. But anyways, just to kind of put this one quickly, Eric Ebron finishes this with the first Steelers tight end rushing touchdown, is so I've seen somewhere along the interwebs. I don't know if there's somebody that's a stat head out there seen it otherwise. Let us know if that's incorrect. Steelers up 14-0. You're feeling a lot better about this game because the Seahawks go 3 and out one more time. But there's only 36 seconds. Steelers aren't going to keep the foot on the pedal. They're on their own 41, though. I was kind of thinking they had one time out in the back pocket. I understand. You maybe don't want to turn the ball over or make anything worse here, but how much worse can it be in this situation? I thought they really should have went for the jugular because it comes back, Brian, to the coin toss. Seattle's getting the ball. Heinz Field, the slowest concession stands in the world. Like, fans, don't leave your seat at halftime anymore. They need to have people there. It's like half the stadium's empty. There's no crowd noise. And I always kind of say this is why this ends up happening. They open the third quarter, Seattle, with 10-play, 75-yard drive, and just gash the defense. I think they realized that Geno Smith wasn't going to win them this game. And they completely made it a point of emphasis to run away from Cam Hayward as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that by the third run of that series because, of course, they come out and they did not throw a ball that entire drive. Literally ran the same.
One. I think there's one pass on this whole drive.
I didn't. Well,
yeah, it's not memorable. It's not memorable. Well, that's because it was incomplete.
There you go. But they ran through the same gap, the same hole, every single play. I mean, it really literally looked like they just went, okay, you didn't stop at that time. Here it is again. You didn't stop at that time. Here it is again. And at some point, somebody needed to say, could you put a guy over there, please?
Well, you have Cam Hayward lined up on the right.
Yeah.
All night. And this is exactly how it went. I'm glad you pointed it out. Alex Collins, right tackle, 5 yards. So he's on the right, but the left side of Seattle's line.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so you're flipping this here. Do the rotational thing on Madden. Right guard, 11 yards. Right tackle, 21 yards. Here, I'm sorry, he actually did complete this pass. 9 yards, DK Metcalf. Right guard for 5 yards. That was Dallas. Then they bring Collins back in. Right tackle, 7 yards. Right guard, 7 yards. And then up the middle for 5. This was TJ Watt punching. I don't know if you got a good replay of that in the stadium at all, but trying to punch the ball out and hits him like in the face mask, and they throw unnecessary roughness there. That gets Seattle first and goal at the 2. No gain. This was Watt and Highsmith get right in there, but then Collins right up the middle. You kind of figure this is going to be hard to stop since they hadn't stopped it the whole time. 75 yards and all but, 9 of those on the ground. I mean, that's concerning. And you got to hope, we'll talk about this a little later. I don't know that Tyson Alualu will be back, but if you could at least put
the other guy
warmly over, you got to get Stephon Tuitt back.
Let's get the other guy back. Yeah, the other guy.
Henry Mondo and Isaiah Buggs and Bugsy had a nice tackle at one point during this game, and so did Mondo. But they're not the consistent. They're not the level of a Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and Hayward can't stay out there the whole time too. You would have had a nice rotation if you had these guys all healthy, but you're missing 2 of the main 4, horses up front there.
Yep.
So let's see. Steelers do respond. Maybe not as great as you would have liked to here. This drive ends in a field goal. 9 plays, 66 yards, 4th and 2. After they get backed up, there was 2nd and 10 from Seattle 17. You had Chase Claypool tagged with an illegal block above the waist, as was Chuks Okorafor. Yeah. Self-defeating penalties once again. And that opened the door. Well, then really opened the door. Boswell chip shot, 27-yard field goal. But now you have the Seahawks coming right back. And Geno Smith finds Tyler Lockett for 14, Alex Collins for 3 yards, and then there was the big pass to Gerald Everett, the 41-yarder we were talking about earlier. That got them down all the way down to the Pittsburgh 2. Alex Collins goes for 1 yard. They stop him. Will Disley, the touchdown. Now it's a 17-14 game, and you're like, well, it's no longer 2 possessions. Let's see what the Steelers can do. They go 3 and out. Najee Harris, a loss of a yard on first down. A small, short little dump off to Najee for only 4 yards. An incomplete pass intended for Chase Claypool, where those two weren't on the same page whatsoever. Don't know what happened there. Presley Harvin only boots this one 32 yards. He had been a weapon, still inconsistent at points. I'll take the good over the bad, though, when you're comparing to Jordan Berry, because I think he has like a 63-yard punt or something that comes up here.
You did see when the Seahawks punter shanked that kick. I did tweet out, I didn't realize the Seahawks had signed Jordan Berry.
No, I missed that. But Alex Collins, once again, here we go. Right tackle, 14 yards. Right tackle, 3 yards. Incomplete pass by Geno Smith. Travis Homer, right tackle for 26 yards. I'm trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. Collins goes up the middle for 5. Geno Smith passed the door set for only 3, and then he gets sacked. Loss of 15 yards, a split sack here with Highsmith and Chris Wormley, who are both breathing down his neck. Jason Myers' 40-yard field goal is good, and now we have a tie ball game. Ben Roethlisberger strikes. So you go with Najee Harris picks up 10 on first down. Kalen Ballage picks up 11. Let's let Ben run the ball. This is the fumble. I don't know. I wanted to call it a strip sack, but that's not a strip sack. But you get the idea. No tuck rule, folks. I see some people still talking about this. That was done away with years ago. It survived its purpose to allow Tom Brady to win some games, and now it's no longer useful.
Yep.
So, yeah, sorry about your luck, Ben. It is another one of these situations where I think he hesitated a little bit here, and oh no, they did actually list this as a sack. I apologize. Loss of 5 yards, fumble recovered. That's because they reversed it. They call it an incomplete pass here in the book. These things sometimes, there's 3 lines for one play entry here. And then Alex Collins then goes misdirection, left tackle, 16 yards, but it was an offensive holding, so they got a little lucky on this one. Maybe the holding was because they couldn't run off of that left side. You won't see a whole lot of that throughout this game. Trey Norwood.
Actually, they replayed that. Let me just tell you, that was as brutal a holding call. If they hadn't, I mean, Cam did not move, right? He just stood there in the middle of the field looking at them like, seriously? And we saw at one point prior to that holding call, Cam went up to the ref on the side and said something. And we knew what he was saying. This was, Mr. Referee, sir. Just in case you hadn't noticed, I am being mugged like a tourist in Vegas in an alley.
Bruce Wayne's parents.
Yeah, I'm being mugged like Bruce Wayne's parents, and I need to basically inform you that you should watch and see because it's really entertaining, and I think you'll enjoy it. And sure enough, within a couple plays,
oh man. So, anyways, one thing though, Brian, there's 22 players on the field, and they got like 7 referees.
Yeah,
that have to watch them. So I understand your eyes can't be everywhere because you're out.
There cannot be defending the referees in this. No,
this is not a referee safe space. That. No, it's not. No. Not whatsoever. This is like the battleground, if anything. It's fire them all. So, anyways, losing my train of thought here. Yeah, the big hold. Where was this at? Oh, yeah, here we go. They get it right back, though. Now it's 1st and 20, and they get a big chunk, 10 yards. But Trey Norwood, Freddie Swain, little dump-off short left pass. Norwood stops this one for a loss of 4. Another big play by him. Dixon only a 39-yard punt here. Trying to pin him. It goes all the way back out into the end zone for a touchback. Steelers get the ball right back. Don't do a whole lot with it. Najee gets 2 yards. Ben finds Claypool. Najee gets another 1 yard. Dan Moore gets hurt on this play. Yeah. So Joe Haig has to end up coming in. Dan Moore is still hot cold, I felt, in this game. I got to wonder where Zach Banner is going to be moved to.
I'm going to just tell you, the whole offensive line was hot cold again in this game.
Well, that's true, too. Yeah.
It's not just Dan Moore. They are still seeking consistency. There were plays where I saw Kevin Dotson literally destroy human beings in front of him. Then there were plays where I saw Kevin Dotson get knocked on his ass. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Kendrick Green. Same thing with Okorafor. Same thing with Dan Moore. There were plays where they were dominant, and I had my nice zoomed-in camera from way up top so that I could try and literally focus on what the offensive line was doing at times. And there were you had such a mix of wow, domination versus wow, pathetic.
And it's not just run or pass yet. It's not even run or pass. It's
all
thing.
Over the place. Yeah,
you can't say, well, run blocking's bad, pass blocking's bad. That would have been last year. You're like, oh, the run blocking just terrible overall. Like, and then the pass. Well, and you can't even really say that they barely ran the ball, so they had to be good at pass protection when you're doing it 50 times a game to get enough practice, right? Yeah. But the Steelers do nothing with this possession. Presley Harvin hits one. Pretty deep, 50 yards. Steelers force a 3 and out. Oh, by the way, going back to that, even the Ben Roethlisberger fumble, I would be remiss to say, almost the 3 and out there. They weren't damaged scoreboard-wise. there weren't any points given up here. More or less, field position was what was given up. And when the Steelers' offense isn't moving it very well, very deep, I mean, they still had that one big drive, and I can't figure it out. And you're going back and forth here, like, come on, do something. It's the meme with the guy poking the thing with the stick, maybe the Steelers logo. Alex Collins tries to go left tackle and finds T.J. Watt and Cam Hayward there for a loss of a yard. Then he goes up the middle and finds T.J. Watt once again. And the Steelers force another 3 and out. And it's like, okay, he could only run maybe off the right side of the ball. And now they're not going to be able to hold. So, as you mentioned, Dixon gets a booming punt this time, 65 yards. Talk about the field position game. Ray McLeod has been not so impressive in the return game this year.
Yeah, this is we're approaching we're approaching tiny white guy territory.
Ryan Switzer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's and on the offense too, and we have this later on in the game. I think we're about to come up on this play where Ben throws him a ball and he's incapable of just gaining 1 yard. Really, really pathetic. But there's a drive here, 9 plays, 40 yards. Chris Boswell has been unbelievable this year. Mike Tomlin has the cojones on him, man, to just let him kick anywhere he wants. 52-yarder, and he's been putting them through the wickets too. So I mean, it's been impressive to see. Once again, though, Chase Claypool on this drive, you entered a 2-minute warning, 2nd and 5, Seattle's 36, offensive pass interference. Loss of 10 yards, and you get backed up to 2nd and 15, and this kills the drive. An incomplete pass.
That was a summation of Claypool's game.
Yes, it was.
He did literally couldn't get open. When he finally does something to get open, it's because he blatantly pushed off. I mean, I have no qualms with that call because it was so obvious.
You didn't hear what Collinsworth said. He says sometimes you just don't realize it in the heat of the moment, like the hand fighting and whatever, and it's like you don't realize it, but you know it as soon as it happens. And man, I mean, full arm extent, two hand.
Yeah, absolutely. You could see it. I mean, you could see it from row FF. Okay, it was boom, and you just knew, like, can't even get excited. And I expected Chase Claypool to have a hell of a game, and he just literally threw a dud up there. It was a very disappointing game for him, in my view.
Well, here we go, Brian. Buckle up, because the Seahawks are going to get the ball. They're down 20-17 after the 52-yard Chris Boswell field goal. And this is Geno Smith and the ragtag group against the vaunted Steelers defense. This game shouldn't even be maybe as close as we think if they could have stopped some of the runs. Now all of a sudden you're getting some chunks, 7 yards, 6 yards, 7 yards, 2 yards, 3rd and 1, DK Metcalf for 11. Then you have a near turnover. 1st and 10, they're right out past midfield at the Steelers 42. Geno Smith finds Dallas for 7 yards. Minka Fitzpatrick nearly forces a fumble there and recovered, I believe, once again by Dallas here. So this clock gets down to 18 seconds, okay? So the play right before that was 3rd and 1. Geno Smith, Derek Metcalf, out of bounds, 11 yards. Keep that in mind. It's very, very critical to what's going to happen after this. So you have the play. There's almost a fumble forced. They recover it. Seattle uses their last timeout. The Steelers now, we're approaching second and 3, the 35, 18 seconds. Steelers use a timeout too. Let's get our stuff together. Geno Smith pass to Derek Metcalf once again. Fumble. Punched out. DK.
Is his name really Derek?
Did I say Derek Metcalf?
You said Derek Metcalf. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I meant to say that.
Okay.
DK Metcalf. And hey, dude, I'm still on coffee fumes, as you were saying. So Geno, at least I'm not calling him Evgeny Smith. So, no. But Geno Smith to Derek Metcalf, 12 yards. James Pierre, like we said, creates some splash, hot, cold, punches this ball out. Recovered by Freddie Swain now, 2 yards behind. This is a live play, a live ball. The guy's down on the field. Somebody's got to tag him down. and all hell breaks loose. You know the clock's running. You know they don't have any timeouts. And the replay officials decide to stop this game and review the pass completion ruling. In the game book, they put it back to 3 seconds. You're watching this on TV. It has 1 second on the TV timer. Mike Tirico announces that the stadium clock has gone to zeros. What did you see, my friend?
All right. This is what I say. First of all, they're idiots. Secondly,
I got a lot to say more than this, but
secondly, there was going to be time left on the clock. I was watching the clock. Everybody in the stadium is assuming the game is over, right? And of course, when it's not, they definitely spiked the ball with at least a second on the clock. No question in my mind. So I'm not bent about that. But what the heck was all this rigmarole and nonsense?
Well,
because just stop. Force them to. I can't even express my disgust with the nonsense that went on and the need for any of it. Everything was so blatantly clear. And then this is the part that's frustrating, right? You know they are going back through the video to determine, because you can watch on the big screen what they're watching. So after they've determined that he was in bounds, that it was a catch, that it was a fumble, they then go to the replays of the spike and go on the field, on the video, because you can't see the stadium clock there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're now determining based on the video TV clock what time was left, which is invalid. No, I'm sorry. That's where I have a problem with it. That's exactly what they did. And they can say, oh, no, we were doing something else. Bullshit. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm going to get beat.
Beep, beep. Beep,
anyway, whatever. You see, I'm annoyed by this. They absolutely are trying to use a TV replay with the TV clock to figure out how much time is left. You can't do that. You have to manage your own daggone time. And while I absolutely think there was 1 second left, if they didn't stop the clock and they let it expire, then it was over. Period.
Okay.
That's my rant.
I don't know that I necessarily have an issue with whether or not there was time. I have more of a problem with Decalen Zechariah Metcalf and his bobbling catch 2 plays earlier near the sidelines. You don't know if his feet are inbounds. You don't know that he has control of the football, and they don't review it. And that's on 3rd and 1. Could be forcing 4th and 1 situation with whatever time is remaining here. And this, of course, they would have had to. They didn't have any timeouts. They had 1 timeout left after this that they hadn't used yet. They would have been forced to have used the timeout, depending on how this play may have ended up, perhaps, with all of the replay stuff and things that go on. So, anyways, I really had an issue with that. That was with 28 seconds, 3rd and 1, 22 seconds now, 1st and 10, or that would have been 4th and 1 from Seattle's 47 instead of the Pittsburgh 42. That's a huge game-changing play, but now to stop the game with minute seconds left on what was an obvious catch and the ball punched out and recovered, one thing I would have done was, and I know you can't do this, let's just say DK Metcalf was tackled in the field. You can't pile on him, draw a delay of game penalty.
Right.
There's a loose ball for a fumble. You need to get down there and fight for it, and that's a couple seconds, and that's game over too, pal. And What are they going to do? Are they going to throw a flag on it because it was a live ball? You're going to dive on the grenade. And that was one thing I thought the Steelers should have done. But at the same time, I understand why they didn't, because they don't want penalized there, and you don't want to stop the clock there. But what is Russell Wilson doing out on the field? Did you see this?
No.
Oh, he's out in the green, man. And he's telling Freddie Swain, he is like this close to Freddie Swain, like he could have grabbed the ball from him. And they're like, oh, give it or whatever. And then the Seahawks spot the ball themselves. And then the referee gets up there and just touches himself, and then boom, spike. They run it up themselves. When have you ever seen some type of nonsense like this? So the referee crew completely botches this. They give the Seahawks an almost infinite amount of time to, instead of just it's clocked, and now you got to run Jason Myers and company out there and rush this 43-yard field goal, and anything could happen from that situation. Literally anything could happen. You've got like a normal 40-second play clock, and then you have the 25. That's the running play clock. Just either of those situations is a far cry from the 3-4 minutes or whatever they got. I don't know. It wasn't the longest replay situation in the world, but just absolutely ridiculous. And Mike Tomlin, of course, had a couple of things to say about it too. A little bit of something. He says, I hated it. I just hated it. I could not believe that game was stopped to confirm catch. No catch in that moment. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. It was an embarrassment. He was asked 3 times about it. Yeah. So those are all the more words he had. He's absolutely
a little bit
right.
of a fine coming for Mikey there.
You know what? He's absolutely right. And some of the guys,
absolutely,
the whole league, man, has just been absolutely. There's just been atrocious calls all over the place. This was one of the worst. This game should not have made it to overtime. I would have liked to have seen that. If you're going to put a replay, how about the bobbling one? What happened to home field advantage?
I know that one. I was like, how are you not reviewing this?
Yeah,
clearly the ball is moving. I don't care if it was a good catch or not. The ball is moving around in his hands, between his legs. You have to at least take a look at this and say, let's see if he was in. It's close enough, and it's an important enough play, and it's your call. It's under 2 minutes. You have to do it. Whatever.
Yeah, I know. The refs stink, man. So, anyways, the game does go to OT, and the Steelers' offense still, I don't know what's going on here, but at least you get a little semblance of a stop here. They still got a completed pass, Tyler Lockett, for 21 yards. That was his big gainer for the day. And then you had the T.J. Watt sack. Not this was the first one. This wasn't the strip.
No.
Huge 3rd and 4. Pushes them back from the Steelers' 45 to their own 42. Dixon gets off a long 47-yard punt. The Steelers get it out to the 20. Najee Harris for 4 yards, Freiermuth for 2, and then Ray McLeod 3 yards. Couldn't even get the extra yard. Like, this isn't the guy I want to go to in this situation. I don't know if this was the primary read. This is 3rd and 4. Now Presley Harvin gets a 56-yard punt, and the first.
I got to stop you right here.
Go ahead.
And this is why. So I'm at the game with my buddy, Don Roberts, the guy I went to high school with, right?
Uh-huh.
Don is like 97 feet tall. He's a big, tall guy, right? He's taller than you.
It's impressive.
So he's a tall dude, right? So we're up there, row FF, and after this happens, punt comes down, and he's like, what's going to happen? And I said, directly at that point, I said, TJ Watt, strip sack, fumble. So now you can continue this play and tell them that, in fact, we had a TJ Watt strip the ball fumble. Don grabs me and starts shaking me and screaming at the top of his lungs, I can't believe you called this. I can't believe you called this. Right, left and right. And I'm like, holy crap, I'm not that small. I'm getting knocked all over the place. Anyway, it was very amusing. It was funny because, I mean, you know how you call stuff, right? And you don't actually believe you're calling it.
But you're never
wrong.
Like,
but absolutely, when you do it and it's dead on, you're like, holy crud. And I actually felt like, look, TJ had stepped it up. That huge sack that you just mentioned, right? Big sack. And actually, somebody tweeted out that TJ Watt is way more than a grown-ass man. He's just Thanos.
The finger snap.
Yeah. And I
said, snap, and it's over.
I went, fine. But Alex Highsmith, huge game. TJ, big game. Yes, they both had issues in the second half, but they came up big when they needed to at times. Cam being Cam. All three of them. Gams forevermore. But I actually believed that could happen at the time. After that sack, I just said to myself, TJ is like, beep this crap.
Yeah.
That's it. End of story. I'm done with this. And took it over.
Man, Tomlin had a really great quote on TJ Watt, and he says you talk a lot about great players. Seeing TJ Watt step up in that moment, is that almost something you guys expect at this moment? And Mike Tomlin replies, no question, no question. That's how he's compensated. And thank you very much, all the people who didn't want to pay. It's funny to me, Brian. And by the way, the Steelers win this game.
There are people who didn't want to pay TJ Watt?
Yes, there are.
Who that don't even watch. No, I don't unsubscribe. I don't like you. Get away.
There are people out there. They're probably not listening to us to begin with. But Chris Boswell, just a real easy 37-yard chip shot for him. Steelers win.
I got to ask you this. What the hell was the play before the kick? I'm like, okay, why do you do this? I'm so confused by this series of plays. Ben jumps in the middle of the field. I get it. Okay, maybe that's placement. But then why do you kneel?
I think just as a safeguard in case they miss the field goal, chew a little clock. That's the only thing I could think of there.
I'm so lost about that series of plays. First of all, the swan dive to place it. I'm like, fine, just step over and kneel. Why are you throwing yourself to the ground that way?
He was talking to Sean Smith, the referee, just before that too, and I had a feeling that was something like, okay, I'm looking to do this. Is this, you know what I mean? Excuse me, sir, Mr. Caretaker of the rules. We see that you have no clue what the hell you're doing all game long. So I just want to make sure that this is within the purview of what I'm permitted to do and that I'm doing it properly. Okay.
That was okay to me, sir. I don't know. Oh.
You ever watch SpongeBob? The referees are all like Patrick Starfish. Yogi
Bear's smarter than them, so it's okay.
Well, he's smarter than your average referee.
Yes, yeah.
So, anyways, bump. Yeah. We've talked enough about this. We've got a bye week to talk about more. Maybe come back around after we get to see what happens with Thursday Night Football. Sets up the AFC North a little bit more for this long-awaited rematch with the Cleveland Browns, Brian. So TJ Watt, beyond grown-ass man, as we were saying here, and if it wasn't for Trayvon Diggs with the Dallas Cowboys and his tear of like 7 interceptions and 2 pick sixes, I think there's no doubt that TJ's a defensive player of the year. Without doubt, he is a candidate. And as for the people who were saying maybe not to pay him, there were people that are saying he's had a down year, Brian. The guy's missed a game entirely. He missed portions of that game against the Raiders as well. And he has 7 sacks. He has 7 sacks in 5 games. He has 3 forced fumbles, 3 pass deflections, and 12 hits on the quarterback. He's an absolute terror. And everybody that said during training camp and everything else that were ragging on him just don't know what you're talking about. We're going to talk about some of these other things, though.
I gotta bring up the thing that I gotta bring up.
I was gonna have.
You want me to wait?
Go ahead. Let's rifle it off for our 2%ers that are still hanging around at probably a little bit longer of a show than we've been doing recently.
The tweet I tweeted at the time was people need some situational awareness. Look, Pittsburgh fans are not bad fans, right? And they are not fans like Philly fans that cheer when people get hurt, but when the Seahawks player is laying on the ground in a very scary situation, you guys cannot be doing the damn wave. It was so bad. It was such a bad look. And your stomach cringed while they were doing it. And I get it. Somebody tweeted back at me, oh, fans get bored. I'm like, I get you get bored. I get you're not watching the field. But you know what? You gotta have a level of awareness and sensitivity to the fact that a guy has been not moving on the field for 5 minutes. And both teams are surrounding this guy. This isn't a timeout. This isn't something where, okay, I'm so bored, I think I'll do this. I'm sorry. It was idiotic. It was so ugly. And it was as bad as the end of the game was, that was also an embarrassment. And admittedly, the Steelers players came out and they're like, what the hell are you guys doing? Calm down, sit. And as soon as they started doing that, people got a sense, wait a minute, maybe we're being stupid right now. I was like, I mean, I'm telling the people around me, I'm like, stop. What are you doing? Stop doing the damn wave. First of all, and the wave is stupid to begin with. We don't live in the 80s anymore. Stop it.
They did it at Lambeau, too, and it had about enough steam for, like, it was like a muddle wave or something, but that's absolutely just stupid. I was shocked when I saw that on Twitter. We didn't mention Darrell Taylor getting hurt here, and that whole thing. It seems like he's got a good prognosis. Yesterday it was reported, Pete Carroll said he feels good. I talked to him a few minutes ago. Got a sore neck right now. He's got a stiff neck, but relative to what it looked like and what we were having to deal with, he really got a great turnaround, great news. They still have to do, more checks and stuff on him, but yeah, it gives you that. And he wasn't the only one. Taylor Lewan Monday night as well. So, guys getting carted off. Taylor Lewan with the thumbs up. I'm not sure if Taylor did the same thing, but they were saying Taylor was at least moving his feet and stuff.
Well, Carroll said after the game that he did not want to go out on the cart. He wanted to get up and walk, and they just were like, no, you can't do it.
No,
and I get it. But, man, that was part of my unsettlement with the whole game. Like, I couldn't feel satisfied with a win after that. It was so unsettling. To see that occur. It was really disturbing to me on more of a personal level, thinking, wow, guys, we're better than this. And we are. I mean, Steelers fans are better than this. I don't know what the hell was going through people's heads. But, man, maybe too much of the old adult beverages. I don't know. But it's no excuse. There is no excuse for behaving that way.
Yeah, and right after that, too, you had that long break. Didn't they start like a huge, here we go, Steelers, and Ben's like doing the bird flap, like,
it's
shut
like,
up, you're too loud.
We're doing counts. I need my team to hear. Situational awareness, folks. I mean, I get it, and the fans are excited. They want something to happen, but, man, you just have to be aware of situations, and there was just sad.
Same thing happens on the road. You go to a road game as a Steelers fan, and it's like third down, third and long, and the away team's like amped up. Let's say it was the Packers I was just at, or I've been to Browns or Bengals games. And you have the idiot Steelers fans that might, again, maybe they brought icy light with them on the road, and they're waving their towel and screaming their head off, and I'm like, you're contributing to don't do that. You're helping.
Seahawks fans were doing the same thing at that game because I was surrounded by Seahawks fans. Right, I had Seahawks fans in front of me. I had Seahawks fans behind me to the side, and every time it was third down for the Seahawks, they're screaming their bloody heads off and waving their Seahawks towels or whatever the hell they had, and like, oh, let's get the first down. I'm like, these people are not smart.
Oh, you see it a lot, though. You see it happen with baseball and hockey, and I like with hockey at least. Like, well, there's play going. You have the ushers they stand in the aisle with this little sign that's like, "No, you're not coming down the aisle and blocking anyone's view until there's a stop and play." And you have it happen in baseball all the time. You're in football. It's like people get up and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go take it. They think they're at home on their couch. They're in the middle of the row, and you're going to disrupt everybody in your row for the bathroom break. And like second down, you know what I mean? And it's like, sit down. Is your bladder that weak? And of course, it disrupts everyone that's around you. Or you get the people that will stand like it's a concert. A concert, stand, dance, do what you want. You stand the entire time during a football game, and you pay this big money for these seats, and it's like you're just standing, and all you got is a view of someone's posterior. More than likely, they're not New Jersey from some player that sometimes you'll at least get Troy Polamalu, but as is the case with the guy in front of me, not too long ago, it was like one of the worst like knockoff jerseys I've ever seen in my life. I would be embarrassed to wear that in the condition it was in. Not to mention that it was also a knockoff. It looks like the thing had been worst in about 20 years since Troy was a rookie. It was a white jersey at one time. It's just like, dude, you're spending how much money on a ticket to go to a Steelers game? A season ticket holder, no less. It's like, can you just like maybe invest a little bit in like a guy that you could wear for a little something else? Like,
I was upset. I wore Claypool. I was good. It was tied. Because I told you I really thought Claypool was going to have a big game, so I wore my Claypool jersey. And I felt like I had I had Troy because I saw Troy the day before, right? I went to the Troy signing the day before.
Jealous.
It was awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Had a lot of fun. Got Aaron Smith too. I'm going to call out Riddle. I mean, I know the 1%ers are here now and going, why are you even talking about this? But I'm going to call out Riddle. Make some damn helmets. I know that there's a shortage of everything, and we have supply chain issues and all that stuff going on in the world. Damn, I need to be having some helmets, and I can't get helmets anymore because you guys can't get your parts. Make some damn helmets so I can get my signatures the way I want them instead of having to buy a stupid football that I don't like. Anyway, so I had to get Aaron Smith on a football. I was ticked. But I had an authentic speed helmet sitting here for 7 months that I was just waiting to get signed by somebody.
Yeah.
That was it's my second. Maybe I shouldn't say this. My wife might listen to the podcast. Maybe she's not a 1%er though, but it was my second Troy helmet. Like I have a Troy helmet up there that is an authentic replica helmet, authentic normal helmet. And now I have the speed, but I had to get one with the Hall of Fame inscription. So had to do it.
Yeah. It's one of the few that I would chase. I'm not the big autograph chaser. I'd rather have like the Applebee's getting fancy over here type wall with my other little collections and stuff. So, and 3 beer bottles this year. I had to put up a new shelf. Thanks a lot for that, Bud Light. I don't even like bottles. I'd rather have the cans. It's just,
but I like the bottles. I would have bought some if I found them, but I didn't actually look for them either. So that's my bad. And I'm going to give them a nice shout out too. The redo of the Steelers Pro Shop in the stadium. Oh, very nice. Awesome. Very, very nice. I was very impressed. Wow. So much nicer to shop there now than it was when it was in where the pit one is now. And it was so crammed and tight. Kudos to the Steelers for doing it.
Still very crammed, though, if you go on a game day. Yeah. Go on some other day, take a look when they're open. And they have absolutely everything there. Everything. Too. Even I found something to buy. And you may have, too. I mean, it's...
Well, I had to buy a towel because I buy a towel every time I go because...
Oh, I thought you forgot it. I was going to say...
No, I purposely don't bring one because it's like my ritual. I must have a new towel every game I go to.
That's a good idea.
Which is a problem when I get home and I have 457 terrible towels, right? But I also needed a hat because this is the hat I had, and it was cold. Man, it was cold. And I needed a hat to wear, and so I had to buy a hat.
Yeah, it had been nice weather all the way through. Well, we're rambling along. We do have some other things to talk about, but we're going to table those for later this week or early next week or something like that. We'll have some more to talk about. So, Brian, everyone's probably very happy to see you once again on here. We gave them a little bit more bonus episode here, a little bonus with you. I'm happy that you're finally back here as well. And thanks, my friend, for joining me because this was a show I didn't want to flounder doing solo. Let's put it that way.
I understand. I have to say this one more time. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward are grown-ass men, period. Okay. Anyway, I just had to say it again because I just had to say it again.
Hey,
but it's good to be back. I'm hopeful that my outside Steel City Underground life will calm down a little bit over the next week and a half so that I do not have to be on phone calls with China at 3 a.m. and doing all the things that I've been doing that make it impossible to get onto the podcast. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, you saw me do a sign of the cross here as I banged the microphone, and it's like, I'm hoping the same thing as I transition into some new projects outside the Steel City Underground world as well. Wore Alex Highsmith last week, walking into the stadium. Whole Highsmith clan was right in front of me, as they call themselves, Highsmith clan or whatever on Twitter. Yeah, but I saw all these Highsmith jerseys. I just coincidentally happened to wear one. I'm like, go Highsmith. Everybody turns around. They're like, yeah, all right. Somebody's got our guy. Picked the wrong week to wear it, but that's another story. Maybe I'm off a week. I wore Ben this time around, so we'll see what ends up happening. Folks, thanks for joining us, putting up with some of our rambling and the incoherent whatever that's going on here. We need a little practice getting back in the fold together. I had been talking too much.
We're out of sync.
Yeah, talking too much solo on my own too, so it's don't mean to take over the whole thing. I got a couple people who left a bad review about that in the summer, and it's like, well, geez. I'm like, sorry, that's kind of what happens when you do it solo a little bit here. So if I'm long-winded, leave me a better review next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, my name's Joe. His name's Brian. We encourage everyone out there, as always, to be safe, be good, and we'll catch you later.
We would like to thank you for listening and remind our listeners to follow us on social media and our website, www.steelcityunderground.com.